Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Success Insight podcast. Today's guest is Andrée Martin, our leadership, mindset, and golf performance coach. And you all know when Andrée is on the show, it has to be Mindset Monday. And this is Andrée's and my opportunity to talk about the confluence of golf and the sport for professionals and amateurs and in the world of business. So let's share a little bit about Andrée. She is an LPGA Class A Life member, a nationally recognized top 50 golf teacher and expert, and a member of the Maine Golf Hall of Fame, recognizing golf's value as a business tool. In today's competitive marketplace, Andrée works with individuals, groups, corporate or organizational clients to create educational and team-building programs that enhance the professional success of aspiring executives. Andrée Martin, welcome back to the Success Insight podcast.
Great to be back with you, Howard. As always, I love doing these Mindset Mondays.
Fantastic. And you know, what I love about Mindset Monday is in my years in the consulting space, it was very clear that golf played an important role for business leaders, whether they were the executives or the department leaders, especially the salespeople. And so much business was conducted on the golf course. And it's such a friendship, camaraderie driven sport where you're sharing in each other's individual success, because for the most part, golf is a sport of one to a certain extent. I know there are some tournaments where you've got the team-based approach, but you know, what I love about it as an individual, when you're out there on the course with hopefully 3 other golfers joining you, you're sharing in the successes, you're sharing in the failures, and you're sharing in this mindset of, you know, shake off the bad and let's get past this and you're going to do better next time. And, you know, it's just a wonderful way to not only to get some great exercise, but, you know, to develop friendships and really to get better in your relationships, professional and in sport.
Indeed, Howard. And today's topic is reality testing in business and sport. What if you thought of bad things that happened to you, either on the golf course or business, as a test? Not as hurdles or bad marks or punishments, but just a thing that happens to bring you back to reality or to give you a reality check.
What would be an example of that on the course? Because there's something immediately jumped to mind, but what is an example out on the links where, you know, we can put this reality testing into play?
Well, there's so much chatter about negative thoughts in golf. I mean, and everybody that plays the sport for a reasonable amount is always saying, oh, golf is 90% mental. And yet I see people beating themselves up all the time. And yes, they become their own worst enemy. But isn't business and anything we do in life in how we manage our reactions to what goes on? And I think that's why a lot of executives and business leaders will play around a golf with someone before they do business, because they want to know, how do they handle the tough stuff that's thrown their way? How do they manage the hazards? And are they continuing to beat themselves up, or are they willing to recover and keep themselves, manage their emotions and manage their ability to get back on track and recover?
You know, you have brought back some memories for me in some golf courses. And in an earlier life, I would be invited to go out to these professional golf events. You know, somebody was running for Congress, or, you know, a special charity. And we saw that in local government. And we weren't supposed to actually have a free round of golf, but that's a story from years ago. I don't think there's no danger now in chatting about this. But I remember a couple of incidents where somebody had a bad stroke and they were so upset that they broke their golf club. And another instance where they threw their golf club. Now, I've stepped up to the tee box and I didn't go through my think box, go box routine. And heaven knows I needed you way back then to help me with that. But I never once thought I was going to throw my clubs in the water or break my club or throw my club. But I think you're right. If the round of golf is an opportunity for me to suss out who this person is, do I want to do business with them? How do they feel about themselves? Do they respect themselves? How do they treat the folks that they're playing with? How do they treat the golf cart, person who's passing out beers and hot dogs? It's just a great way to indirectly assess, is this somebody I want to do business with? Do I want to bring them into my organization? I never thought about that, but it's wonderful.
Absolutely. And they get so hard on themselves. And in all honesty, whatever's going on in people's lives shows up in their golf game. I can tell from the minute you walk up to my lesson tee, whether you're having a good day or not, or whether things are going well or not. Oh, yeah. Energetically, and how, and after I work with somebody for more than, one or two lessons, I get a sense of their personality as well. And so I know just based on how they walk up to me, how they meet and greet, how they set the bag down, whether they acknowledge somebody else that's on the driving range or at the first tee if we're going to be doing a playing lesson. There's just so many cues. And again, there's no need to beat yourself up, but yet people do it because they're their own worst enemy. Everybody wants to be better. Not everybody is wired in a way that they can just be calm and chill. So it's all about teaching them how to do that. And that recovery from a bad hole can be the difference between success and failure. And if you think about that, how does that translate over to business? And we are in a world right now where there were a lot of successes out there. The country was doing great. And now a lot of folks have hit a brick wall. And how are they managing and dealing with those emotions? And they're elevated for sure. And rightfully so in many cases. But at the same time, how are you going to sustain, maintain, and lead in uncertainty? There's no guarantee on any hole that you're going to have a great hole any more than there's going to be a guarantee that you're going to have a birdie. Just like whether we've had COVID or not, there's no guarantee you're going to be successful in business or not. Some choose to take the attitude that, hey, I'm going to have a great day. And in most cases, those people have a better day than those that come out feeling like crap and all pissing and moaning, right? And how quickly do they recover? That tells you how quickly they're going to get their game back. And getting your game back does slide over to business and translate just as easily to business as it does to a golf game.
It seems that reality testing is an opportunity to, in some ways, just take a step back, assess where we are, what went well, what didn't go well, what could I do more of, what could I do less of. Those are, standard kinds of questions when we coach leaders, especially as they're expanding beyond their comfort zone and working with other team members. Those are very powerful questions. So even on the golf course, so I had a bad hole or a bad stroke or things didn't go as well as I expected. I can test the reality. Is it me? Is it I'm just a bad golfer? Or, this is just something that happened. What am I going to do about it?
And you can get more detailed than that even. What a lot of people need on a round of golf is an immediate way to get back on track. And if you're punishing yourself and putting bad marks on your abilities, you're not going to bounce back as fast as if you dial in on, okay, what do I do when I hit it great? How is my breathing? How is my tempo? How tight am I compared to what I am when I'm hitting it well? And then you create those shifts and those opportunities to breathe and get your game back. And folks that are listening to this podcast need to know, I'm well aware of different personality types and how folks are driven, and whether they are driven by the calm all the time or if they need a little fire in their belly. I mean, I think of Michael Jordan. He always had to have something really fiery to get him going, right? And that's what drove him. All those things that made him drive himself to success. Well, that personality needs more fire. So, I'm going to handle somebody like him a lot differently than somebody that's beating themselves up and just getting further and further down in the hole. I had a gentleman today that just drove up and is spiraling way the wrong way. And we're just going to go back to fundamentals. And in a round of golf, how do you do that? Well, maybe you just take a couple wedge swings and slow yourself down and take a moment to breathe again and get everything back in your lower chest. Okay. And I hear the audience saying, okay, what if I can't do that? Well, you take a couple more deeper breaths and just get back in your center and find that tempo. There's maybe a tempo number that gets you back on track.
I think what's really coming across to me is this, the breathing and the tempo and just, this constant visualization and just getting back to the rhythm and reminding ourselves of how all these pieces kind of fit together. And that's becoming very crystal clear. And, perhaps it was clear, episodes ago, but in the work and the conversations we've been having over the past couple episodes, all of these visualization, the breathing, the rhythm, the tempo is just really so important in everything we do, whether it is on the course or it is in, on the business side of the house.
And even walking, right? And how you hold yourself. How do you hold yourself? The walking like a champion piece.
It reminds me, was it Amy Cuddy who had the famous TED Talk and about, how do you prepare for being out on the stage? You go into the restroom and, you practice your Superman, stance with your fist clenched, your hands on your hip, or your fist on the hip, and just breathing and reminding yourself, I belong here. And just practicing and visualizing what the outcome is going to look like.
And even your higher handicap golfers or your newer golfers have all had a good shot. It may not be that specific club, but we've all had that good shot. And you just got to keep going back to that. And how do you create it?
Yeah.
And have the reality check of, okay, maybe you're not good enough to shoot par, but take a bogey and be proud of it.
I think that's me, except it's a couple bogeys.
Might be your personal par. Not everybody's personal par is par.
Right.
Given their handicap. There's a reason we have handicaps. It levels the playing field.
Right.
Great. And what makes these high-leveled entrepreneurs and executives as good as they are is they're up-leveling. Yeah, but they're up-leveling with reality checks in mind. Mm-hmm. And that's the reality testing we're speaking of today in both business and sport.
Well, Andrée, I appreciate you coming back and joining us on the Success Insight podcast for today's Mindset Monday episode, reality testing in business and sport. And if our listeners would like to learn more about you and your work, where are the best places for them to go?
Sure, they can go to my website, andreegolf.com, Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I have a YouTube site, Andrée Martin Golf. Love to have everybody visit.
Fantastic. And we will most definitely provide our backlinks to the sites on our show notes. So, Andrée, thank you so much for joining us again on a new episode of Mindset Monday. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I'm a little envious. You get to, be out in the middle of nature and playing in these wonderful golf courses. And I know it's hard work, but it's just, God, just to be out there in nature. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Andrée Martin, our leadership mindset and golf performance coach. Do let us know what you are thinking about this episode or any of our other episodes of Mindset Monday. And you can find these on our website, successinsightpodcast.com. You can also find us and these episodes on our LinkedIn and Facebook pages, Success Insight Podcast. And the episodes are also available on the leading podcast channels, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And also we have our YouTube channel where you can find us as well. And let us know what you thought about this and other episodes. And definitely, we love your comments, your questions. If you've got some questions for Andrée, feel free to add those into the comments. And if you'd like to learn more about Andrée and her work, do go out there again and visit her website and her social sites as well. All right, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day. Be safe, take care of yourself, your family, wear your mask, and practice social distancing. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Success Insight Podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.